Hi guys, welcome to Alcohol Ink Month at colormecreativeart.com. I'm Jessica Sanders. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going through a series of alcohol ink tips and techniques for the month of September. I'm trying to pack in a lot of content, but I'm going to start with the very basics. So the technique I'm going to show you today is the very first technique to start with. It's just dropping the inks. So I have three colors of the Ranger ink. These are three new colors that they have: turquoise, amethyst, and patina. These are beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to take the lids off. I'm just going to take the lids off of all of them so you can see. And a great thing to know about the Ranger inks is you do not have to keep the lid on the inks all of the time when you're working. You can leave the lids off, then you can switch back and forth. So I have the lids off of mine. I'm going to start with the patina. It's the lightest color, and I'm just going to show you how it works on these three different types of paper. So the first one I have is the Mohawk Glossy Cardstock. I'm going to put a few drops there, and you can see how it's spreading out nicely. I have Yupo paper. Ranger makes a Yupo paper and a cardstock as well. These are just not Ranger brand type. This is just a different one. And then the Yasutomo Mineral paper, which is really made for calligraphy, but it is one of my favorite papers to work with alcohol inks. So I just wanted to share that with you too because it's so much fun. Okay, so you can see that even though I kind of expected this inks to spread out more on the Yupo, they didn't. They spread out most on the glossy cardstock, and so that's just an interesting effect. And I can pick this up. This is practically dry already, and you can see that the ink goes through a little bit on the glossy cardstock, but not really on the Yupo or the Yasutomo Mineral paper. And I can't pick those up yet. They're still wet. They stay wet longer than the glossy cardstock. These are just good things to know. Okay, so next I'm going to try the turquoise, and this is going to be a darker, and I'm going to drip beside, and I'm going to drip in the middle. So we can just see what happens when we do that. And these inks have had a little bit of time to dry, but obviously not much. This is a real-time video. So there we go. So what I noticed first off is this darker turquoise basically takes over the patina. The green just doesn't really show very much at all on the glossy cardstock. On the Yupo, it's really clear, the turquoise is, and it really pushed the patina out and away here. And then it also did, when it hit the edge, it pushed here. You can see this nice halo of colors, really pretty. Here it overlapped. And then on the mineral paper, it didn't move very much. It pushed the turquoise. It's still moving. I don't know if you can see that right now. It's still moving. This line is moving that direction. I need like a little pointer. See, this line is moving in this direction. Pretty cool. That was the drop that was beside it. So first it pushed it this way, and now it's pulling back. And this one was in the middle, and it kind of made a mixture. I can see the blue, but it's not real clear, and I can see a little bit of patterning, but kind of made a mixture. Okay, and so now let's try the amethyst and see what happens. I'm going to do the same thing, but this is a much more darker color. So I'm going to put beside and in the middle of our very first color, beside, in the middle. And I'm just doing one drop of each. You can see these really spread out and it doesn't take a lot. So I'm going to go beside. That's not my original color. Let me put it beside the original color. And in the middle. There. So we can just see what happens. I love watching these work. And today I'm not using anything other than the inks. I just want you to see how the inks work by themselves. It's great to take just I shared this in the video. I'm sorry. I showed this in the supply video, but it's great to swatch out your colors so you can see what they'll look like. These are just one drop. They really go a long way. So these little bitty bottles will last a very long time. I've had some of them for a few years actually. So, okay, so I don't know if you can see there's some overlap here and overlap here. You can see like a darker color where the green is underneath. And it just kind of pushed over and out. Really took over the patina here. So this one, there's no patina left underneath it in either place. It pushed it right out of the way on the Yupo. And on the mineral paper, it pushed into, kind of overlapped there, and it just completely took over here. So it kind of mixes a little bit on the mineral paper, a little bit more at least than it does on the Yupo, and it overlaps more on the glossy paper. Okay, so now I'm just going to put down some drops kind of randomly, which is what I like to do, and just see what happens. What happens if I put the light colored patina over the dark amethyst? Let's see. Over the amethyst, and I'm just dropping it right in the middle of the amethyst there. That one wasn't quite in the middle, was it? So on the glossy cardstock, we still just have a really dark color. It has that little bit of blue-green tint to the purple. But if you notice on the Yupo, really push that ink out. There's still some of the amethyst, the purple left in the middle, but most of it is around the edges now. And for this one, it pushed the ink, and so it lightened it up a little bit, but you can still see it. This is very transparent. Okay, so let's try it over this turquoise. This is a light color over a little bit darker color test, I guess you would call it. I don't really have a good turquoise over here. What if I have wet turquoise, and then I drop, because these are kind of dry, and then I drop, may just mix. Let's see what happens. So you kind of just have an overlap of color on this one. Again, this one pushes it out of the way. Okay, so I dropped the light colored into the dark colored, and if you can see in the middle, see right in the middle in this area is green, is the green. But mostly you can see the darker turquoise. Alright, fun. Now what if I just make some little, let me use the turquoise. Yeah. What if I just make some, try and make some tiny dots. So the turquoise, let's pushing that away again. Let's see the turquoise over the amethyst. All right. Get some really cool effects. Yeah, I'm just going to do some drops around. See what happens. Some will be bigger than others. And I'm just touching it to the paper really where there's no ink. What if I put another drop in there? Another drop there, another drop there. And like I said, this is the most basic technique you can do with alcohol inks. But it's a great way to learn. You learn a lot about how they move, how they interact with each other, the darker and lighter colors. You see how they leave this dark band. Now some people don't like that, and there are ways to deal with it and remove it, but I happen to like it, so I'm leaving it for this especially. Here you can see how they're mixing and mingling, but they don't blend together. That's something that's very different about alcohol inks. They don't really blend together unless you force them to. They really just push and move each other. You can't control them, but you can kind of nudge them in the way you want them to go. So kind of like your children maybe. You can nudge them, but you can't control them. They're going to grow up. Okay, So see this amethyst? Really, this patina was wet, and this amethyst next to it pushed it out of the way. I think the ones that do the, I think if they're more heavily pigmented, then they are more likely to push the lighter pigmented colors around. Okay, so very cool. I'm going to let these dry now, but I want to show you some dry ones that I already made. I don't want to move these. So I want to show you the difference between the papers. I have glossy cardstock that's dry. So I wanted to show you, see, this is very shiny. The ink is very shiny no matter which color. So you have a really glossy finish on the glossy cardstock. When you move over to the Yupo, it's more of a satin finish, except where the inks are very dark here. So this ink is very dark and concentrated, and it's very shiny. Otherwise, it's kind of a satin, kind of a soft look with the Yupo. And then with the mineral paper, you get a very matte finish, except, again, where the ink is very thick. So this is a very matte finish, and the something interesting about the mineral paper, because of the texture, you can see some granularity in here. See, I hope you can see these little tiny, I'm trying to get the camera to focus, sorry. Anyway, they're very tiny, like granules of color in here, and it really makes a really nice effect. Okay, so that is technique number 1, drops. I have accumulated over 40 alcohol ink techniques. I'm not going to be able to share them all in the month of September. There's just no way to fit them all in. But the main purpose of this was to show you the drops on the different paper and how the paper can affect the way the inks work, so that you can, you know, decide what kind of paper, what kind of effects you like, and you can go from there. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this little demo of dropping alcohol inks onto different types of paper, and I will see you very soon with another technique. Bye! Oh, and don't forget, if you like this video, like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, and share it with your friends. Thanks. Bye.